In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is resented because that a-hole can see. What the hell? Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. We're going to talk about which farm is more necessary, Afra or Sith Eternal Emperor, and I don't think it's as obvious as it looks, guys. I mean, I know I've spent my time telling people that Afra is worthless, and she's honestly, it's not that far off. As crazy as I'm like, hey, like which one is more worthless, Sith Eternal Emperor or Afra? And the thing is, they both are fitting some pretty important key niches. However, I don't know. It's not as obvious as you might think, I guess. So let's jump into this debate, and I'm going to show you guys an update on my Professor X account, which is almost to 9 million GP. I only have 3 Galactic Legends, but we do the big game hunting thing there. So in GAC, always trying to do off-meta counters, which makes Afro maybe a little more attractive in some ways. Let's talk about it, folks. It's an interesting discussion, in my opinion. So first, I do want to thank my patrons. You guys are amazing, and I truly do appreciate your help, your input, your support. It is so essential. I couldn't do what I do without you. Thank you guys so much. Folks, just remember, if you want to support the channel for free, all you've got to do is like, subscribe, and or comment. And the algorithm is mounted by both Afra and Sith Eternal. Sometimes they try. You might try their attempts. You might call them, I don't know, floppy. Ugh. All right. So what does Afra do for you guys? She's mostly PvP value, honestly. Like, so she has some territory battle nodes, and she'll do some stuff in Conquest, I suppose, but nothing too crazy. And otherwise, she doesn't do a whole lot, I guess. In the PvP, she's mostly like she's just taking out a lot of Galactic Legends, the ones that allow her turn meter gains. So Jedi Master Luke, Sith Eternal Emperor, those two are pretty much locks at this point. And then Jabba, she does kill Jabba these days as well. Maybe there will be a build eventually where Jabba can defend against Afra, but she's doing some work against Jabba. And then even Lord Vader, she can do some good work against a lot of those different comps. So lots of good stuff. She's not as good in 3s, so she'll still take down a lot of good squads. And otherwise, that's about it. I mean, Hondo and Sana are requirements for her, and Hondo has, at this point that you're going to be farming Afra, you're probably also going to have a good, dash team that Hondo can hang out in, or Hondo can even hang out in a Sana team, and the Sana team is pretty eccentric and weird, and you probably... I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, folks, but I would say that, the Sana does okay there, actually. She has an okay team, which is the respective, good/okay, and of course, she's kind of eccentric to use instead of Sith Eternal Emperor, which, I mean, for me, that's absolutely a factor, because, I'm a streamer, and eccentricity is probably important, I guess. Alright, let's look at Sith Eternal Emperor. So, he's probably the weakest Galactic Legend. I almost don't think he's a Galactic Legend, guys. Backpack Emperor, he wants to go off on adventures, and he just can't even take care of himself. He needs a lifter like crazy. He doesn't kill anything. As a Galactic Legend, what he can kill is fairly pathetic. He does decently against all the A-level non-Galactic Legend teams. He'll do fine against Zori or General Skywalker. He'll even probably kill. Well, I don't think he does kill Afra teams. In fact, he'll kill CLS. He'll take out all those teams. He'll kill Jedi Master Luke. He'll win the mirror match. Sometimes he'll kill Jedi Master Kenobi if you know what you're doing, or even Sith Eternal Emperor or Supreme Leader Kylo if you know what you're doing. But those are messy affairs with terrible banners. He is good in the territory battle, though it's not really essential. Mostly it's just deploying at this point. So Like, you don't really need him for that. Conquest, I never use him on my main account unless it's like, hey, you need Sith wins. I'm like, okay, well, I hope we can get enough stars, because his whole team just freaking dies, and he's like, hey, just in case you weren't frail enough, you a-holes aren't even allowed to revive. He's like, yeah, don't even consider reviving. Like, if you're dead to me forever. And they're like, sheesh, man. Like, I hope Zareth doesn't farm you. So he also does facilitate you getting that tier 3 bonus node on the assault battle for the Sith, which is nice, I guess. But otherwise, his requirements are fine. He's barely a Galactic Legend, guys. He needs some help. Right now, though, he just doesn't do that much. He kills the teams that you don't need help killing. A lot of times you're going to be winning the off-meta stuff. So, you're going to be beating all of that stuff with off-meta stuff, is what I'm saying. He's almost, in a way, he's an off-meta counter, but it doesn't even, you're like, oh, hey, I'll farm him just to kill off-meta stuff, and he doesn't even do that, really. It's very sad. He is very droopy. Poor Blighter. So let's go to the game, guys, and I'll show you what's going on my account and kind of how to apply this this knowledge that mostly he's PvP and mostly Afra is PvP, and therefore they're not like as crazy vital as other farms. But if you're going to be debating them, the question is how close to your actual completion date are you? Which is, a good opportunity for me to update you guys on what Professor X is working on. So this is my 8.9 account, guys. This is the one that has only 3 Galactic Legends hanging out in Kyber 2, beating guys with 7 Galactic Legends, and it's called Big Game Hunting. We're killing all the Galactic Legends with off-meta counters if we can, and it's a lot of fun, guys. We're doing it all the time, and my Sail Eternal Emperor farm is, through no fault or effort of my own, is actually fairly close to just accidentally farming his shards, guys. Like, Darth Maul might be needed for Leviathan, who knows, like his ship, so he might be relicked soon. Royal Guard I have been working on because of the Emperor's shuttle, which honestly, he might be a requirement for it. As weird as that is, the Emperor's shuttle is a Sith ship after all. Probably not, but otherwise, like, everything, we need more relic levels on stuff, but I got Tarkin up faster just recently, along with, I've got Gear 12 on Gar Saxon, in fact, and Gear 11 on Imperial Super Commando, just for that fleet, and then otherwise, like, Anakin needs a couple relic levels, Thrawn needs all 6 of his, like, there's a lot of relic levels here, but honestly, probably I could be farming, say, the Eternal Emperor shards within a month if I really, really wanted to focus on it. And none of these characters are, like, none of them are that onerous. Like, Krennic isn't good, Darth Sidious isn't good, and everyone else has some kind of a niche use right now. And that's really, the requirements are good. There's a lot of them, but they are, like, decent, I guess. The Afra farm, you only need 4 characters. They are way more expensive in general, gear-wise, than all of the, say, the Eternal Emperor farm. I'm trying to think, do any of these require Kyrotech? Probably, like, Piet? Is that about it? Yeah, I mean, obviously, say, the Eternal Emperor needs them too, but, like, almost no Kyrotech there, other than the Gear 12 to 13, of course. And then these ones all require a whole buttload of them, folks. Tons of Kyrotech, and the Hondo and Sana, none of them are accelerated farms right now, so it takes a little bit, and obviously BT1 is going to take a little bit to actually get there, though of course this account is working on Leviathan stuff right now anyways, just trying to make sure that everything is ready for that, which probably means getting my Sith Marauder up another 4 relic levels anyways, just so that I can use that Sith bomber at a decent rate once Leviathan is here. And I guess the thing that I've realized, folks, is probably in terms of utility, there's two important things that I'm looking at. Number one, like, what does Sith Eternal offer for this account specifically? Because in a way, they're both kind of close to equidistant in farming. The Sana and Hondo nodes are cheap on Cantina, so I mean that kind of makes up for them not being accelerated. And obviously Hondo is already 7 stars, and so what does Sith Eternal counter for me? Because they add about equal value in PvE. Like, I wouldn't use them really. Like, neither of them are in the raid, and Conquest, like, neither of them are specifically needed. Afra's needed more than Sith Eternal Emperor for the most part. And so which one is the most needed? In GAC, I think the most obvious thing, guys, is Sith Eternal Emperor kills almost no Galactic Legends. He does kill Malagus, which is a need on this account, frankly, but otherwise, you just don't really need anything too crazy. Or he doesn't counter anything too crazy. Like, I already counter almost everything. However, Afra kills Jabba. She kills Jabba, at least in 5s. In 3s, Jabba remains a royal pain in the hindquarters, but otherwise, I mean, he's a pain anyways. Sith Eternal Emperor just doesn't counter enough stuff, guys. He doesn't do enough, and until he gets a lifter unit, which I think the likelihood of him getting a lifter unit before Afra does, I guess, is probably more likely. But at the end of the day, being able to take Jabba down in 5v5 with off meta is pretty appealing, guys. Not to mention Hondo. If I can throw an Omicron on Hondo, that, like, in 3s, Afra doesn't kill a lot. Like, she doesn't kill Galactic Legends, but she does counter a lot of different things, or she does really well on defense, depending on what you want to do. And Hondo is also kind of a monster. If you put his Omicron on him, he is kind of a monster on this team, as well as this account doesn't have Lord Vader, which means I have a Maul team that I just use for offense or defense, and Hondo actually does really well in the 5th slot on that Maul team with his Omicron, because he gets so much bonus turn meter when he's with other scoundrels. So, he can kind of jumpstart that Maul team. In fact, I'm going to be experimenting with that, hopefully in the near future, once Leviathan is done, once we have all the Cal requirements, and I'll probably be chasing Cal and all those requirements pretty hardcore. Anyways. Yeah, lots coming down the pipeline in terms of using all those different squads and stuff. But I think some people are like, man, for new players, you gotta get Sith Eternal. He is so, like, the farm is so great, and it goes directly into the Executor fleet and, farm and everything. And it's true in some ways, and in other ways, like, yeah, all these characters are characters you kind of want for various reasons, to varying degrees. Like, Dooku is pretty specialized, pretty endgame, specifically for, like, he can go with Trench, or he can sit on the damn bench where he kind of always belongs. Like, all these characters have their uses, but you don't have to get, say, the Eternal Emperor in order to be able to use these characters. I think Afra is going to end up being a little, like, she's newer. Like, I think her potential for being needed elsewhere as requirements is probably greater than the stuff in, say, the Eternal Emperor's camp. And so I think in the long run, guys, if you have been farming Afra requirements a little bit, I think maybe you just start working on Afra, because she's countering Galactic Legends, guys, and she's useful right now in Conquest for feats and everything. So I don't know, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I can't believe I put a Zeta on Sana, but I don't have any, man. It's a rough thing right now. I don't have any Zeta mats at all. It's like I can't even afford to put them on these really awesome droids. Anyways, That's about it, folks. I mean, working on Cal requirements, working on Leviathan, like those things probably take precedence or priority. But on the back burner, what are you working on? What things are you guys thinking about? I think that honestly, it's going to be a better choice to work on. Like, I'll work on these guys passively, of course I will, that's just how it works, but I think the Aphra farm is a lot stronger than a lot of people are thinking, including myself. Like just a couple weeks ago, I just kind of opened up to this idea. So I don't know, I think you can kill Jabba with this is a great argument for farming Aphra. And see, the Eternal Emperor's like, hey, I killed the ads on Jabba. It's like, well, okay, good job, you can two-shot. It's not that he's, like, awful, he's not really a galactic legend, is he, guys? So, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.